say, I want you to know that any offender that has charges against children, like child abuse, sexual abuse, is not allowed to be a part of the patch program, even if they have their children on their, which they wouldn't probably have their children on their visiting list, but I wanted you to know that. So that, and also you can have a patch visit any day of the week. The regular visiting room rules don't apply to patch. I know they've just cut back and they're having fewer visits at Chillicothe, but we can have visits weekend days, weekdays, even in the evening if we want to, so just to let you know. And I'm so glad we have all these programs. I always tell the mothers, do it all. Do everything you can. Anytime you can see your kids is a good thing. You know, anytime you qualify and can be a part of a program, if the kids are willing, it's a good thing.
I want to throw one more thing out. We found out once we got it started further into our project, when we had to create a brochure, we were trying to document how many children in Missouri are affected who have a parent incarcerated, not counting jails, just Missouri Department of Corrections, that could legitimately be identified. And keep in mind, a lot of dads and some moms won't necessarily report they have kids for fear of owing, you know, $19,000 or more in child support when they get out. But we found over 147,000 kids in the state of Missouri that were reasonably, you know, documentable just in Missouri DOC, not counting Fed, you know, children of federal prisoners or county jails. So.
And that's a static number. So if you look at it over time, it's, you know, it's just a multiplier.
Can you say the beginning part again?
I think, you know, Judge Monty, whatever the orientation program for incarcerated and they want to have contact with their child, but the other caregiver, be it a parent or a foster caregiver, is not interested. Is there any other options you offer to help be with that child when the parents are?
I was actually in Vandalia this time. I was in Vandalia this time yesterday on that exact issue. Trying to sort through some of these challenges because we're able to contact the caregivers and work it from that side. All of the moms that volunteered for this project wanted contact with their kids, probably for the right reasons. Some of the caregivers aren't ready for that yet, for a lot of the reasons that you all can already imagine. What some of the caregiver moms wanted, because I couldn't go into all the details of it, but we have classes, we have group therapy and programming for the moms. They wanted certificates to be able to show their caregivers that they're working on their stuff. And I said, well, yeah, you know, I could verify or validate for your caregiver what your attendance record has been. You know, that with the exception of one of the moms I was talking to, with the exception of when you were out during the month of June for your hysterectomy, you know, we didn't even know she'd been in surgery, you had perfect attendance. You know, yeah, we can tell your caregiver that. They need some kind of proof. They need to be able to show and earn back some of that respect, those privileges with the caregiver. It's a huge issue.
It's okay, can I address that? I'm probably one of those caregivers. And this was my experience, is that it seemed that anytime some of these programs were presented to us, it was always about the offender. And I'm the caregiver that had to live with the results of those visits. And while the offenders are working on good stuff, it's not going to change them and their habits and their learned behavior overnight. And so the child is put in the process of the parents practicing that, which can be very detrimental. And then as a caregiver, you're expected and need to be the person that a child comes back to and picks up those pieces. And then in 2 weeks or 30 days or 60 days, you're expected to allow the child to do the same thing. It's very easy when the child is of an age to be able to make that decision. I don't want to go. I'm not interested. It's scary, whatever the reasons are. But when you have a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old who's still having the same after effects, but really isn't in a position to be able to make that decision, as a caregiver, you're still the person that has to deal with that. And that's why for me, as a CASA person, not only am I interested in allowing and encouraging keeping the families together, I'm more interested to make sure that these children aren't continued to be traumatized, whether it's a minor or a major, but that their follow-up is an important issue for me. That all these programs are making sure, great that the parents are doing their job, but let's make sure that what they're doing is having a positive effect on those children. That's not always the case. And so I don't mean to be the devil's advocate here, but I have personal experience, and I also see the long-term effects, especially of parents that are incarcerated a long time, that we have children that start seeing their parents or remember seeing their parents in prison when they're 3, and that's the only, now the patch might be the exception, but that's the only experience they have. And a visit in prison is not reality, because everybody's usually on your best behavior. And so that would just be my biggest encouragement today, is for all of you that have programs, is make sure you have devices that you are following up with those caregivers and even older children to say, what was this like for you? You know, was this good or not good?
I have had situations where the caregivers have not wanted the children to go. So what I do is encourage them to come to the in-town meetings. And one in particular I remember, she came to in-town meetings about 8 or 9 months before she decided to let the child go. And this was a young child. She was 6 years old, had severe separation anxiety, and so she attended the meetings. Parents are always welcome to all of the Girl Scout meetings. So she came to the meeting about 6 or 7 months, and then she said, I think I may let her go. I said, all right. But it was another month or 2 before she decided. But what she did was talk to some of the older girls, and the older girls explained what we do in the correctional center, and I'm always in the room, and there are always the other volunteers in the room. And that eased her mind some, but we evaluate everything. We have to kill as many trees as we can, so we pass out paper to everybody. So I am watching the meetings, and I evaluate each girl, you know, the interaction with the mother. The other volunteers have to evaluate. I have the parents, the mothers incarcerated, fill out an evaluation. The girls fill out an evaluation, and then I talk to the caregivers, and they fill out an evaluation after they come back. So we evaluate everything to death. So.
Thank you.
Let's say you've got a parent who's incarcerated, gone through the orientation program, you've got a person who's got care of the child, who's okay with that. What's in it for the kids? What's in it for the kids?
Spending time with me.
Do you mean, why should a child visit their mother? Well, I believe that a mother has an important role in a child's life. All of us have a mother. We are always going to have that mother, whether she ever is really our mother in that traditional role again or not. But a child will always need to resolve an issue about their mother. All of us have with our own mothers, and so to me, the patch visit gives a chance for them to have some time together where they can reconnect if they want to, they can talk, they can show their mother work they're doing at school, they can try to be, just have a good visit. It's something, I believe that, and of course our visits are totally up to the caregivers. We get the mothers ready, but we do not force a caregiver to send a child ever. But there's something about seeing and feeling and touching in a very healthy way your child or your mother, to have that mother's touch. And I believe that for a lot of our kids, they yearn for that touch. And I've watched children come in, and sometimes the younger ones especially, they don't know that mother as well. And they kind of circle around them, but they don't get close. They might go to older sister instead. But I watch as the time goes by, and pretty soon they're coming and standing next to the mother, maybe a little bit more. And then at lunchtime, they might even sit close to the mother. And I watch, and sometimes they're on their lap by the time the 4 hours is over sometimes. And I watch it happen, that they remember the connection they had, or remember that a little bit. And it just is a beautiful thing to watch a family together. And like I said, we have plenty of times when children are fighting over mother, or children are expressing anger at mother. Why did you leave me? Why aren't you at home? Why can't you come home today with me? And but I think that when they can spend some time together, it resolves the fears that they've had in their head about, is my mom okay? We have a mother in our support group now who was a child of incarcerated parents, and she said, even though my uncle and aunt told me what was going on, my brother and I would say, do you think mom loves us? Where is she? Do you think she's being hurt in any way? Do you think they're starving her? You know, they can go and see her. They can take the image of their mother at a visit and replace the fear that they're having. And with the visit, they saw their mother. She's okay. She still loves them. And that does a lot to help a child's emotionally. We have a visit coming from St. Louis, and the caregiver told me when I called and asked if she would like to be a part of it, she said, oh, this is coming at such a good time. The 8-year-old has been waking up at night and dreaming that his mother is crying and having these nightmares, and so this will be so good for him to get to see her. So, you know, I think they imagine a lot of things, and this gives them a chance to actually see reality, what's happening.
Do you know of any programs that provide a more therapeutic area for the kids that need to come in and say, I'm mad at you, and look what you did?
That's fine.
So it's more therapeutic to get over that before they're the one to do it. Not just supervised, but, you know.
Well, I tell all of my mothers, we don't have, maybe we can get that going in Chillicothe, but I tell all the mothers in the support group, therapy. Think about therapy. Everybody in this room needs therapy. You need to be with your child needs therapy, you need therapy, go get therapy as soon as possible, and don't be afraid of it. You need somebody to talk to. You all need somebody to talk to. And that's what I encourage therapy. So it would be great if we could do that. I don't know if we could work into our 4-hour days. Usually it's when the mother comes along.